Welcome back to Talkin Schmit. I'm Schmitty. Today on the show we got Hago. But I want to say a couple things real quick before we start. No matter what side of the coin you woke up on this morning, never forget the words of Timothy Donald McKinney.
Check one, check two. This is the year of the empathy. Get it. Get your empathy back. Let somebody in on the freeway. Give somebody the right of way. Ask them how they are. This whole narcissistic vampire elitist bullshit has got to come to an end starting this year. Please. Get it. Ask them how they are. Get it. Check one, check two. Get your empathy back. Please. This whole narcissistic vampire elitist bullshit, vampire elitist bullshit, come to an end. Has got to come to an end. Please. Year of the empathy. Year of the empathy. Narcissistic vampire elitist bullshit. This is the year. Get it. Please.
Fuck you, I'm taking it, bitch. Talkin Schmit.
Blood wizard. Blood wizard. Blood wizard. Blood wizard. Shop.bloodwizard.com.
Tickety-tack.
Hey, it's Corey at Blue Plate, 3218 Mission Street. Come see us. Meatloaf, fried chicken, deviled eggs, Dollar Olympia beers. We're here every day of the week. We got a garden and we got smiles on our faces. Come let us make you happy.
Only shoe I wear. I have 22 pairs. This one's the no comply. We're shouting it out, okay? We're shouting out no comply today. I got 22 pairs. I decided to wear this pair of yours.
Also, for all you skateboard enthusiasts, send in those clips, man. talkinschmit@gmail.com. I'm putting out another video Thanksgiving Day, and I want you in it. So hurry up, send those clips ASAP, Ferg. And here's your guest, baby.
And we'll start. Hello, everyone. My name is Hago, or my Armenian name, which is Hagop Najarian, and you are listening to Talkin Schmit.
A little bit of intro.
All right, we're Talkin Schmit.
It's cool, like tonight is the night.
I guess we're dancing now.
You're gonna be
Talkin Schmit, dude.
People started showing up.
I wouldn't say it was fun.
What do you mean, bro? Christian Fletcher's younger brother.
Fuck the Dodgers.
Big Dog's in. What do you think, Colin? We on? Schmitty?
That was the worst thing I'd ever seen in my whole life.
Dude, we need a magazine.
I remember that.
What are Yuns doing? Holy cannoli.
Oh God, the list is long.
Holy shit.
Frisco icon.
What is happening?
Let's hear it for Gracefully.
Gregory.
Wi-Fi check 1, Wi-Fi check 2.
Yes, now we're back.
Okay, and we're back.
Coming at you from the podcast that keeps rocking, and you know I'm Talkin Schmit. I'm Schmitty. Look, we got a fucking killer interview with an OG. Fuck it, I'm gonna say triple OG. He's an artist.
I love art.
He's a professor, a musician, and a long-time skateboarder that grew up skating Whittier with Blender, Lucero, Grosso, and others. Jason Jesse defines him as Rodney Dangerfield, and everyone cool in skateboarding had a baby. This is Hagop Najarian.
Thank you. I don't think most people know my last name, or the closer friends do call me Hot Go, because
Hago, or I hear Hog.
Yeah, I hear Hog. You get Hog. But first off, thanks so much, Mitty. If you think I got something to say, I'm thrilled to be here. And I guess shout out to Cranny, who said, "Hey, Hago, you want to go on this thing?" And I've seen your episodes; they're great. So thanks great to be here. Thank you.
Hell yeah. Good to have you. Before we start, I know that you were born in Beirut. Do you have any family or friends out there with everything that's going on? Is everything cool?
Nah, man, but it was the same kind of civil unrest. So, yeah, I was born in Beirut in 65, and my father worked in the Armenian University of Beirut as an engineer carpenter, so he kind of saw it coming when the civil unrest in the 70s was happening. So he started moving his brothers here and sending them to school, college, and whatnot. And so then we came in '69. But I do remember, honestly, without being kind of corny, like the last few days there, I remember running down the apartment, my aunt grabbing me and my sister, and like looking out the window and seeing like just, light shows of flames and cities going off and stuff, and not really thinking much. So it was kind of a crazy time. And then next thing I knew, we were on an airplane and we landed in this place called La Mirada. I do not have family because, like old immigrant cultures, we came here, we got residency and sponsorship. Like I said, my dad said his brothers. So we then could host people here at our home. And I'm in the same home that I grew up in, that my dad kind of boxed in the back patio. And for like 9 years, we had 11 people living here with one bathroom. Wow. Grandparents, uncles, aunts. So for safety, I mean, I guess our own asylum, right? They brought family here into the beautiful America land, and yeah, I'm very fortunate. It was a great time. And then the community that being Armenian in LA was kind of, Hollywood was big, then Montebello became a big thing. So having another culture of people that know what you know, and it's the religion's big, the food's big, the culture. So it was pretty cool. But my family are a tribe. Everyone bought a house like a block within each other. So they, like most cultures do, So thanks for asking. But no, everybody's safe here. However, what's going on there is still nuts, right?
Yeah, big time. I mean, it's a lot of shit's happening, but I saw that kind of very recent, and so I was like, ooh, I wonder if you had any friends. But yeah, I figured, because you kind of left, you left there when you were like 4 years old, right? Yeah, 4 or 5. And, but honestly, I do have Palestinian friends who have family there, and I'm sure you don't want to put all the energy into this episode. Right.
Crazy. Humanity, what a weird thing. Yeah.
For sure. Well, send him best vibes. But so how did it all get started? You're in the Whittier area, right?
La Mierda, folks.
La Mierda.
Yeah, La Mirada. La Mirada. So it's like Whittier, La Mirada, La Habra, or La Hatbra is down there. We're all these kind of small suburbs about 20 minutes from LA. That's how it started. Again, not to get all heavy on family, but it was the olive trees. My father sent his brother to UCLA, and I think when they were looking for places, he bought a house in La Mirada, and they saw olive trees in the front yard. My dad said, "That's where we're going." The Mediterranean climate and just the whole vibe of the other brother went to Ohio, and my dad was like, "I'm not going to the snow. I don't want that." And so they really just set up camp in La Mirada. It's fabulous. It was, like I said, it was a very beautiful time for about 7-8 years till my dad died. And then he died in 1977. So when we came here, we were setting up like this whole beginnings, and then he passed. And then my mom carried the torch for about 11 years. She died in 1988. But my point is, at that time, man, it was just every weekend here. This goes to my music introductions too, right? Because I played accordion, but every Saturday they'd cook food all day, and at night one uncle would come out and start clapping and singing in Armenian. Then Hagop, go get your accordion. I'm like, no, but I did. And then that's what made me who I am too. I think as an artist, a painter, and a musician, it was this, get over the fear, buddy. Just, you got to get in there. So amazing memories of what I think of La Mirada. It was really kind of a awesome town. And this will go in the future of our conversation, maybe. Unfortunately, both my parents are deceased, and even my grandparents, but they're buried in Olive Lawn Mortuary, which is down the street, which then Olive Lawn, became Eddie's second band. Coincidence, I think O saw the name and just called it Olive Lawn. But so I'm still here in La Mirada. There's a cemetery with half of my family, and then all my sisters live close, and we're all in the same blocks. So there's that.
That's cool. So is Eddie kind of your oldest friend? Like, what's the order of like meeting people, and then like kind of your group?
Yeah, and I think this is why I don't want to go off on my family, but La Mirada is where I'm at. It's seriously 6 minutes by skateboard to Skate City, right? Which is Whittier. It's right on the corner where it switches La Mirada to Whittier. That's how this whole thing is. We were all 15, 14, 13, and Skate City opened. And that was just like, fuck. Well, I don't know how you guys were or whoever when Del Mar opened. It was the same, like, skating was happening. And then to have that immaculate park there, Eddie Glass, the same, but he's more because he's neighborhood. And this goes to John Lucero too, and my other good friend John Solomon, Mark Hunter. These are the streets we all built ramps and just like knew each other. Eddie was 5 years younger, so he was like this weird, not weird, but younger kid. But he played immaculate drums. So like he still has memories of me showing up with my skateboard and a little Gorilla amp and a Sham 69 cassette or something going. He was playing Hungry Like the Wolf, Duran Duran. I'm like, that's pretty cool, dude. You heard this, and then Eddie's amazing. And people will tell you, I mean, fortunately, we just jammed with him yesterday, which is kind of rare because, he's in Nebula, he tours and all this.
Sure.
So, yeah, Eddie, but then that's how it got to Neil. That's how it got to Lance. That's how we played music was
Whittier?
Hey, Whittier, yeah, you live down the street. Oh, shit, you got this guy who plays drums. Well, let's go to your house, play guitar for a while. And then Eddie's down the street. And then when Lance was Republic, he had a drum kit up at Skate Cities, had a little top terrace level rooms, and he had a drum there, and we'd play in there. So with Lance, I played for a bit, and then when Skate City closed in '82, Neil still kept coming over. We'd see Neil a lot, and that's where Worked World really started happening, was, late 83, 84 to about 85, 88, actually. And so I know that's a long answer, but Eddie was a childhood friend, as was, like all of us grow up with that neighborhood friend you see riding a skateboard or a bike, and you're like, huh. But, they were the cooler ones that weren't doing the kind of drugs or, gangs. Well, we didn't have a lot of gangs. But, yeah, Eddie's a good old friend. Fortunately, I could say that with, of course, Lucero, because I knew all their families, their parents, and I still do. That's the weird thing. I live here, coincidentally, by traveling and coming back and owning the house, and my wife, and we raised our kids. But the parents of all those people still live around here, so they... I see them and we talk, and then the kids come visit.
Did you know early on that these guys were special as far as skateboarding goes?
Yes. I say that because without a question, what
kind of things are you seeing at Whittier? Are inverts happening and like that kind of stuff already down there, like early on?
I have a theory, and I don't know if anyone will support it, but yeah, maybe they would. Sadlands was a pivotal training camp for Neil, Terrence, Lance too, but like Lester. It was quick tranny, right? So you go up and that's where the sad plan happens. You got to thrust that thing and do your core balance. If you notice, all those tricks in the back in the 80s, in my opinion, were back foot tricks. Think about it. Neil's pivot. Even a Smith grind is a back foot derivative. The nose, what do you call it? Sad plan extends the front foot, but you're controlling the back foot. At Sidelines, you had to function on that quick response to like staying on top of the surface, but not. I don't know. So yes, when tricks were being invented, we had a whole house full of these guys that we just played. Add on with these games you'd play where. But people dominated. I mean, Neil's size in itself was like, okay, this guy, he changed, right? He did invert some scoops inside to stalling on the surface and going in. And he was so fucking big. When he did an Andract, you were like, your camera had... The Lance, it was just an inventive time. And I hear this later from people because at the time, there was a vibe from tribe to tribe. You go to Del Mar, there was the Hawk crew, and Billy Ruff and all those guys. You go to Upland, there was the Santa Cruz macho of Dwayne, and Whittier was this weird group of guys, and even Neil came from Big O, which Dwayne was there, and Neil lived in Anaheim, which is not too far, so Whittier was close. And I hear later too, people were like, "You just come to Whittier as these goofballs, having ice fights and putting people." We put Mark puts in a trash can and slid him down the keyhole just because, they take the pizza deck tape and tape some kid's head and just see if Mark, actually, I think it was it, Mark Puts, but, Danny Wiesner was that. But, there was all this, I think ego wasn't there and the insecurity. Everybody just felt like a weird dork out of touch with the rest of society, as a lot of people do maybe when they're skateboarding. There's that age group of freedom. Well, now it's become such a packaged training camp of how to be a skateboarder, but back then it was really, you were thought of as a thug. You're doing slappies on a curb, or what the cops would be like, what the hell, you're damaging property. And so to your question, yes, I started Aspo and Castle, which were skateboard amateur contest things. And, we all felt pretty good. And I did pretty good. I could do a frontside air, tail slide, and invert backs. But the cats just started rising. And that's the thing. You'd see your friends get sponsored. Neil, Lance, Lucero, Grosso, Nash, Lester, and I can keep going on. But see, that goes to the other point. At one point, there was only about 10, 12 homies that were at Skate City every night. A lot of people came in and out, but until a contest came, there was a really set group. And these cats started getting sponsored, and the tricks just went off. And then the level just became intense. And, at the time, the Bones Brigade was a benchmark. Stacy, I think, really created this package of training camps, get these guys to be the best skaters, pick little elements of each style of skating, get them in there. So when they toured, like they came in for a contest and come in 2 weeks, and you'd see a cabbie doing stuff, and Tony or whatever, these kind of, our group got gnarly too, and be like, oh yeah, well, and that's where the snake sessions and stuff got fun too. Like, I'm going to drop in on you and show you a frontside invert you never seen. And
yeah.
I think there was just a wonderful carefree attitude to skating, which is still there. I know it is. Like, kids do this. I see them around here. The one-upsmanship's there, but it's also huge support. Like, you try a trick and slam, and, you support the other guy.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, I know myself. I that's why I backed off. I was, 18, you graduate high school. Neil was a little older. Lance was a little older, so they'd already done that, and they were traveling and shit. And it was like, wow. I was into music. I was into art. I knew I would not make it as a skateboarder. Or if I did, I'd break a wrist. I couldn't paint. I couldn't play guitar. So I kind of said, what do I want to do? And then even with music, I kind of put it aside I got a degree in art, and that proved itself more as a career for me. Yeah.
Okay. Were you friends with Lance before the ramp was built at Mountain Manor?
Yeah. I think so. Well, yeah, and right around. But that's Lance. That's his training camp. He said, Stacy sending these cats here. Well, he was on Veriflex, too. He wasn't on Bones at the time. He was like, I'm training myself. I got this amazing. And then, of course, he had his Lockett Manor, like, contests and stuff. Yeah, I think, I met him at Skate City. We both worked there. So.
Oh.
Like anyone, it was like, what are you doing? Oh, man, yeah, I got this ramp going. And I think it started, I could be wrong, Lance, maybe. It was a little smaller, I think. Then he built it big. But he had huge support from his dad, right? And the family. So he's doing that thing. I mean, he went to England in the 70s with a skateboarder. Right? He's that guy. So, and we all had quarter pipes. I mean, I had an 8-foot, 6-foot thing. Whoever had a cul-de-sac around here was like, put it at the end of the cul-de-sac and, to answer your point, yeah, I was friends with him, but you saw him. Then he just became Skate City every day, and we both did. We worked there in the pro shop and then behind the counter. Who else did? Jerry Mata. I don't think any other skaters proper. Mike Fulmer did for a minute. I got pictures of him behind the counter. But at the time there was just this small 4 or 5 that ran the skate park, and then some of them skated, some of them didn't. And Lance was one of those guys, though. He was just hardcore always. And I think when we get to photos, I got photos of him at pools at Skate City that no one really skated either. So, there was always that inquisitive, try this other way to do it thing. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, do you remember any times where, like, you were at the ramp or at the park or anything and seeing something maybe for the first time? Like... Yeah. Mike Smith, Smith Grind, or like, wait, what the hell is that? Like,
I think like eggplants were like, what? Neil's frontside inverts were like, Lester Kasai in the keyhole. Anybody here, they know it if they saw it. Now, MF, that motherfucker, frontside airs that were just so high. That's the one where it started going really elevated. And backside airs. Neil's method, take it from David Andrek, which, you do backside air, but you kick your back legs out. And the stalled inverts, yeah, I do. And that's the thing. We were all lucky. Me, Lucero, Grosso. We'd start seeing these things. And when you go to another park, a whole different style. Like Upland was just a burly corner. And the coping was gnarly and the transition was crazy. So it was a more aggro coping thrash, and then pop off the coping backside air. And I just felt like Skate City had this really well built thing. Like they looked around at some of the '70s parks and then really tailored it nice. So like Upland was an older park, Del Mar was an older park, and even that one part of Del Mar was kind of like an unfinished. What is that? But Whittier had the Clover. You go train there. You could go to the Kidney capsule, and then you get to the Keyhole. In fact, before that, they had a half pipe with no coping and a little peanut bowl that you could just you learn all your stuff, and then you could do that. To answer your question, yeah. Oh, slide and rolls, right?
Oh,
frontside grinds. I mean, the Keyhole was so rad that you could. I just remember Neil doing like 18 block frontside slide and rolls, but he would do these frontside grinds and lock in on the back truck and just go for so long. In fact, for a while, he was generous. He'd share copers, right? Tracker copers. And he was regular, I was goofy, so the one side was not worn out. I'd get him. But he'd have these copers that were just so scooped on the one lock. I got a picture coming up. He's at Del Mar. And people know what I'm talking about that I see him do it. But just fucking flawless, just forever. It wasn't a Smith grind. It was just a full tilt. And smooth as hell. Ray Bones, Neil, a few of these cats, you never heard their wheels. It was just as smooth as anything. Like, and now when I hear these cats riding around with no spacers and rattly wheels, I'm like, no. But or now they skate with no bushings in their trucks. I've seen kids pivot and the front trucks going through.
Yeah, it's insane.
But
Ronnie Sandoval.
Did I answer your question? I feel like I'm rambling. Did I answer your question?
No, yeah, you did. What year did you start skating about? Do you remember?
Yeah. Well, it was 77. Like I said, my father died. Punk rock happened, and skateboarding happened. That's it. I mean, that changed not just me. Everyone around here, everyone in that generation. That's why 1977 stays as such a pivotal thrust. And again, we all turned to. I did the English movement. So yeah, I did that. Skatopia and Concrete Wave, which again were two parks in Anaheim, not far from here. I went to Skatopia like once or twice, and Skate City opened. So there was no need to. And then Skate City had way more diversity in bowls and skating and terrain to ride than. But it was interesting. My mom, because my father died, my mom was raising 5 kids. She was so scared of didn't want me to go to skate parks. Just like, you're gonna hurt you. So why are you doing the skating thing? Resistance. And then I had really cool brother-in-law Tom Palmer. Shout out to him if he ever watches this.
Yeah.
He lived by Skatopia, and he was like, well, fuck it. Kid needs a dad. He needs inspiration. I'm gonna take him. And then started going to Skate City, and then but dude, I mean, you can imagine the energy of Skate City right up the street for all of us. And then when contests started happening, right? Then you see a contest there, and you're just like, whoa! Like Hester Series was going on, Gold Cup, all that. And it was like that energy was just insane. I guess I started working there around 1980. I was in high school.
Oh wow!
And so Skate City's also its life is only 79 to 82. For all the shit that happened in the window, it's amazing, And 82 it closed, and it was kind of a surprise, sad thing. So Ross Galati, who owned it, built it, was an optometrist, decided, I think he sold it to someone else, and they decided, I don't want the danger of skate park, I'll swap it out. And I go up there still, and now it's a Days Inn. It was like a little not shopping mall, but just a little mall thing with the skate park at the end. So now it's a motel.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Being down there, I guess you guys probably were more like skateboarder, trans world, but what do you think about when San Francisco up north puts out a magazine in 80, with Stropel on the cover? What kind of reaction are you guys getting for that?
Oh, hype. I think until you got on a team and then all this sort of pivoting was happening against what grouped against what, I didn't even think about that. I mean, I just remember John Lucero and I sitting and flipping through magazines and just studying and probably everybody, Lance was doing it, Neil, I don't know, just studying those pages, and like when Thrasher came out, but aside from the badass thing, people, Thrasher, it was just, wow, such clarity on new stuff happening, unusual scenes you'd never see, photographs of stuff you'd never see. Mofo was taking pictures, Friedman, before that it was Casmus and God, I'm blanking. A lot of those Goodrich, of course, Jim.
Oh yeah.
So and those went in a skateboarder magazine, or the kind of more proper. So the Flip magazine come out paper. I still have that original one with the layback of Stropel and all that. And I don't know if I got Transworld happened after that. So Thrasher was kind of the cutting edge, not polished, but really. And bands, they had like bands in the back, which I guess Skateboarder and Action Now did that too. But in an Action Now magazine, changed, and it went into more like broad sports, not just skateboarding. So it changed things. But the Thrasher mag but it did bring the San Francisco group of skaters into light, right? That had San Jose guys, even like Stevie and
yeah, Blackheart and Stevie and a lot of guys down there. How early did you meet Mofo? Do you remember meeting him for the first time?
Yeah, I think it was one of those 80 turkey shoot contests or something, 81 at Skate City, and he was nice, and I love him now. He's probably one of the people I talk to a lot and text, and we've seen our kids grow up and stuff. But he was a badass. He would look down his nose. He was look down his nose at you, not wear a shirt, shirt tucked in his back pocket, taking photos on the deck kind of guy. And, oh yeah, him, Fausto. I mean, there's a whole tough thing, and I just didn't really vibe it. I was just like, okay, those guys are that other group, and kind of if they talk to me, that'll be cool, but if it doesn't happen, that's cool too.
Right. Okay. And you said the English explosion. Is the Sex Pistols big for you? Like, what's the punk bands that hit you early on?
Yeah, of course, Pistols, Clash, The Jam. I'm still a Paul Weller fan. Sham 69, Stiff Little Fingers. Lance brought to the mix. Of course, I think he was the one who's always like Stiff Little Fingers, Stiff Little. Sham, all those English groups, but then like, later the Oya, Peter and the Test Tube Babies and that kind of stuff. I didn't get into even in America though, when it started going hardcore, like the 1-2 fuck you music, I was I'm a mod, I was like, I liked the, everyday life stuff that mod music sang about. And even, Stiff Little Fingers was a politically charged band. Sham 69 was all about your tribe, your youth, your people you hang out with. So those lyrics really resonated. Playing guitar really, again, I put down the accordion and played pretty much guitar by myself and listening to records until I took some lessons later. But punk, the English explosion definitely, but an attitude. I mean, what Johnny was wearing with plaid pants. Sid was always the kind of brute asshole that you didn't want to. He was there. Would you want to be his friend? Johnny was inspiring, like how he just dominated, and that's where Dwayne had that same power of like Dwayne Peters walks into the park. He's going to stare you down or give you some shoulder shrug that he means power and force and he owns it. I just think it was really a rich time. And you got to remember, there was no YouTube. There was no quick internet check on these things. So unless you followed the New Musical Express, NME, magazine or things, you didn't really know what was going on with these people.
Right.
You just bought, but we had really good record stores around here where you could buy import singles for not much and sort of get the new fresh stuff. Yeah.
What was your first concert?
Cheap Trick.
Cheap Trick. Holy shit, that's a good one. Was that like live at Budokan era?
Yeah, and then
this next one.
Yeah. Very good. And then we fell into a group. Like Neil really loved Joe Jackson, and we all got into Joe Jackson. I remember some of the best times were Stray Cats with Lance and Lucero and Joe Jackson, Sparks, even punk stuff. I think I didn't see many English bands when they came. UK Subs I did, and that kind of stuff, but. Oh, the Jam 78 at UCLA, that was pivotal for me. They played in Royce Hall, this little freaking thing at UCLA. It was so many small like group from La Mirada High School, like even knew about the Jam. Damn. It was weird. And then, but when skating was thriving, I remember like going to a Stray Cats concert and just dancing and ripping it up with like Lucero and Lance. And then Joe Jackson shows were exciting. It was a time, I think none of us really drove, so you had to find a ride. Mm-hmm. And then, LA is not too far, so kind of a mystery of going to LA to these, you know, underground clubs or the scary ones maybe, but yeah.
Well, let's talk about the origin story of Worked World.
Okay. You know, it's very straightforward. 3 guys just wanted to play music and play it as well as their heroes, and learning to play music. I think one of the first real memories where I thought this is going to happen was I went to Neil's house and he lived in Anaheim, so I'd go there where he lived with his mom, but he's got an apartment in OB or Huntington Beach with John Conkey, and he had a Strat, and he played Blondie's One Way or Another, you know. And I was like, he knows that, you know. And I was like, oh. And he showed me, and I'm like, oh. And then I think I came home, and I was already stumbling through Clash songs, and Pistols was, I don't want to say easy, but it was Chuck Berry, you know. It was kind of like Chris Spedding, kind of rock and roll. But some of these other cats that changed to an E minor or something, you were like, what? So the origins of Worked World, again, just to, you know, in hindsight, just something any friends do at the time. You play, I play, yeah, let's try it. And it worked. And I think, of course, energy and mojo, Neil and I always kind of clicked, I guess. Eddie was, you know, Eddie was, like I said, he just
He's
texted
like
me
Keith
the other
Moon.
day. Well, I was a little heavy-handed, and that's why he texted me for my birthday and thanked me if I'd never shown. Yeah, he's like, just
So
yesterday, too.
sick.
I'm just saying, he texted me a sweet thing that said, yeah, man, if you hadn't come down with your skateboarding gorilla amp, I would have never met Neil. I would have never met O. I would have never played this music. Because, yeah, I'd keep little by little. Here's a cassette of The Who. Here's a cassette of this. And, yeah, Moon. See, that's the thing. After punk, he and I went more early Who, the blues, Gene Krupa, jazz. Like, we went like that.
Okay.
And so he and I were playing, because Neil started touring. Right, and then he moved to Ohio. So after Worked World, when Neil moved to Ohio, Eddie and I kept playing. But then he got into Olive Lawn. But there was those early teenage years where we'd come home from high school and just play music all day, right? And then that's where if Neil came to Skate City, right up the street, he'd skate for a while. Or before skating late into the night, he'd come here and we'd jam. And then he's you know, as lyrical as he is with his drawings and contributions to Trans World when he'd writing, you know, stories for the pictures. He's a great lyricist. He's a fucking genius. He's a really good songwriter, Neil. So he wrote songs, and then we'd sort of build on each other. Like he'd wrote, you know, these really great lyrics, and then I'd be like, oh yeah, cool. And I'm gonna write this way too. So that just blossomed, man. It was just a reason to keep going. And at that point, you're checking off each other. Like, yeah, I'm doing pretty good. He's doing pretty good, and we're doing good song. And actually, that's where Eddie it was never a question with Eddie. I mean, that cat in the 5th grade, you know, I got pictures too where he tried out for the talent contest. They'd have those contests on stage. Dad would paint Fast Eddie on his drum kit. And this kid just come, and you're like, you know. So I had my eye on him all the time, and I always thought he was going to take off and be in a band way, you know, before me. And then because I was older, I think I kind of snuck him in under my wing. But, you know, I was 16, 17, driving to Del Mar, you know, whatever, skate parks, and he was 12, 13, you know, and I'm like, oh, we played the Anti-Club in 1988 or 7, and he couldn't get in because he wasn't 18, so we had to wait out in the car before our showtime, you know, and I mean, it was stuff like that. So for him, Modesto, we drove to a skate contest in Modesto once, and all this stuff to a kid was just like, you know, so yeah,
crazy.
So there's your beginnings of Worked World, and then time, you know, goes on. I went off to grad school in 91, got married in 91, got grad school in 93. Neil was in Ohio. Eddie then it was in Olive Lawn, so he went music. Neil went different skateboard, different state. And I know Neil moved back, I don't know, 2000s, late 80s, something. No, because that was 88. Yeah. 90, yeah, the 90s were for me career building, art time, family, right? For Eddie, it was Olive Lawn, Fu Manchu to Nebula. For Neil, it was Ohio back to here, and then, you know, going back through skateboarding and stuff. Yeah, so
Yeah, Neil. When Neil moved to Ohio, I'm guessing that's kind of when the Alien video got built, and then you guys have you had a couple songs in Memory Screen.
Yeah. That's all Neil. I didn't know. I mean, that's all. You know, we just always trusted each other. I mean, I felt gifted if they're going to play one of our songs in a video. But yeah, Alien Workshop definitely was. I think they got Neil out there, and and I think they got Neil out there and built the company around him with the graphics and the whole thing. But yeah, so that video was pivotal, like you said, very iconic.
I mean, that's how I found Dinosaur Jr. with that dun 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 bum 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 bum. I mean, the whole video is so sick. It's like put together really well as like almost an album. Like the songs kind of go, you know what I mean? Like it makes sense. It's really obviously artistic with the Super 8 and all the little cuts and different things. It just blew our minds. It was like, to this day, you can watch it and really enjoy it.
Well, that's why Neil was one of the first cats to do the Super 8 stuff. He'd really invest in, because, you know, all that film developing back in the day cost money and took time. You'd mail off a roll and hope to get it back, and if it, you know, all that. He was a very creative center for a lot of people. I mean, he did the first graphic, right? His Slam Time, you know, the falling guy off the ramp for GNS was like 1980, and then, you know, after that, Lance did his. Lucero's an amazing artist too. I mean, he still, you see his graphics.
Oh man, yeah, John. Whew.
But if you look at, I think Neil might have been one of the first. I think that the company said, we're not going to just, Gordon and Smith were like graphic letters. And it's funny because Neil handed them a, 8.5 sheet of paper with the drawing on it. And he thought they were going to blow it up. And they took it the same size. That's why it was this weirder, smaller and we were always like, what? But it was still sick as hell. It was so original.
Is that the car one or the guy drinking coffee?
No, you're right. That's way later. Early one, I got him out in the garage. No, it's like a ramp with the Bic Man. You know, the Bic Man is his thing.
Oh.
Do you know the Bic Man?
Yeah.
And the French artist Jean Dufay, he drew that Bic guy. He had a whole thing. And it's on the packaging, but Neil loved it. And it's such a simple head, and then the crosshatch on the head. So he's got 4 of those guys falling, and there's a cast shadow, like this hunched figure. I'm sure you've seen it. If you have a minute, put it on pause. I'll go get the board. But he's now with heated wheel making it proper. Like it's a bigger graphic the way it should have been. Oh yeah, there you go. That's all. There you go. No, so what did you ask me? Graphics? Oh no, Neil's original, and his mother was an artist, and like he still gives mad props. And when you go to his house, he's got beautiful charcoal drawings of his mom's, and I was lucky. I walked into that, and it's they had an Armenian angle. The grandma was Armenian, and the mom was half Armenian, whatever. And then I'm like this Armenian friend they bring home, so they're like, weird name, yeah, I get it. Does he speak Armenian? Oh wow, even better. And then it was just kind of like I felt lucky to be in that vibe, but
I mean,
creativity always around that guy. His sister Suzanne is awesome, and when I can, I talk to her. She's a graphic designer. She had the art thing, so there was just. But then the Super 8s, his black and white photography, it was just,
That's cool. Yeah, I told you I don't know how I got it. I've been doing a lot of archival footage lately, and I got this tape, and it's basically, it seems like it's your guys' recording session. Like you guys are in a recording place, and then there's all this footage of like Jason, Jesse, and Neil doing all this funny, weird stuff. Like I'm just like, you guys made it look like, I was like, I get it. Like Neil was Neil then, Jason was Jason then, like doing kind of the same things at such a young age, like his little mannerisms and the different things and those little slangs that like they'll take forever. It's just like, I fucking love it. I mean, you got to inject humor into life or it's over.
Yeah, I know. Those guys are idiots. And I just... No, that's... I mean, with Neil's always been Neil, and he does it his way. Jason, too, and I think part of it's fortunate to be sponsored at a young age, skateboarding, make enough money, and keep doing what you love, and not worry about paying the bills. I mean, but that's never, that doesn't last forever. So, but yeah, in terms of being who they are straight, Yeah, I think you're talking about Trent's studio. We went to this thing to make our 7-inch single. Jason was there. He's one of the first cats to have a video camera, and I think he's at the Anti Club too, right? I think that show I'm talking about. He's got his. I remember sitting on the steps with his girl at the time, and I videoed him. But yeah, it was just that's how you got it. Jason Jesse. He made a video, and I have it too. There's this weird, but again, it's like a week of hanging out. Like I was saying with my rolls of film, I didn't know what was going to be on the photos until you developed them. And with Jason, he'd have a video, and then take a little bit here, take a little bit of the ocean, swimming or whatever, and then put it all together.
And I think there's even a shot of Neil's quarter pipe in the backyard where the dogs were barking eventually, and that one, rah, rah, you know, like, oh man, that's my childhood. Like, just brings me back to the epic times, you know, like when you're discovering things for the first time, you know.
Yeah, and I don't pretend to know the current skateboard world at all, but it's funny, my students skate and stuff, and it's just a different... Well, first off, everybody's got earbuds, right? So it's a different social experience than they're... You know, but I just... At the time, there was that kind of... We all had those shitty quarter pipes, too, like of just... You know, it starts with maybe the box and the piece of plank of wood, and then you start thinking, hey, how do I build a transition? And then... Yeah, that little quick thing Neil's on, and it's the other video too. I think it's on the GNS video.
Yeah,
that's Sadlands. It's like a weird, quick little
tight one.
You gotta know what to do. And and I have a cement ramp in my front yard that's the same way. Some people ride it and they don't know what to do, but it's
that's how you get the scoop.
If you either grew up that, Ollie pops, you know, Ollie to tails, they were all like that kind of trick, like. Anyway, I like your question.
You have a bunch of photos. Do you want to try to do a little slideshow? First ever Talkin Schmit slideshow coming at you now, kids.
Is that right?
Is that real?
Live, like unedited, baby. Let's go.
This is unedited, and I apologize to anyone. I'm an educator, and I usually put up formal PowerPoints.
Yeah, this is not PowerPoint. This is brought to you by Riverside.
Yeah.
It's kind of random, but this is just kind of like the dump I have in my iPhoto library of, well, and big props to Jimmy Origi if he ever sees this. He is one of the most handsome men out there in the skateboard. No,
the world's greatest dad, apparently.
Yeah, with a beard. And
self-proclaimed.
He was rad. He reached out to me in, I think, 2014 and said, Hago, I see all this Instagram shit. Wow. Like, do you want to show those photos? And I thought, yeah, maybe. Are they worth it? This and that. But I was also annoyed at the time. People were pinching the pictures and reposting them and not giving credit, which is just as an artist thing. You never do that, you know.
Right.
But everybody was. But I thought, what the heck? And we actually sold them and made Jimmy some money. And but there were photos I'd never seen. In fact, I was so, you know, didn't have money. We'd print these in photo class in high school. So how much money you had to buy paper to print? So there was like tons of out of a 36 roll pictures I'd never printed. So. When I did the show with Jimmy, I opened up all these negatives and saw this stuff. All right, let me try and open up a screen.
Let's see it.
So, screen one. Well, let me see. Give me a minute to get adjusted, folks.
There we go. Boom.
You see image and all?
Yeah, no, they're flicking through. Ollie's, lead tail.
Are they big?
Yeah.
Big enough? I mean, I'm trying to...
yeah.
So I can't see the screen other than this.
That looks like a Neil Andrecht.
Yeah, I call this one, you know, maximum everything, because to answer your point, I mean, this is when skating changed for a lot of us, seeing it happen. He's huge, but to float that Andrecht on top, arc it back, we call it a coat hanger, right? It was like a coat hanger. He just, Skate City signs back there. And this is, you know, it's shitty quality negative. You can see the scratches on that. Grant Britton might see this and get pissed, but so... I mean, it was random. I would take a roll of film, not knowing you didn't know what it was on it until you developed it. So that, you know, there's that. There's a young maybe 14.
Yeah, that's artsy. I like that one.
Oh yeah, well, there's Grosso.
Wow.
I think he was temporarily sponsored by Veriflex through Lance.
Veriflex, huh?
But look at the clover, man. The gap that you dropped into from this side to that side was kind of small, and then that shallow end had a high end that goes to a low. It's pretty amazing. There's another one, yeah, kind of foggy with Lucero at a contest, ripping, doing an invert.
Oh, is that Delmar?
No, I saw Keyhole at Whittier.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah, so I'm sure. Yeah, I'll show you. I'll tell you when they switch.
Okay.
there again, I think Jeff's the same. Now, he's in the keyhole there. That was the big person pool, man, and he's really pulling it off, you know? I mean, that was a pretty big move. See, this is all the same day, and you can see how crowded the park is. Sarcasm. Yeah, there's the layback air. Here comes Neil, frontside air.
Okay.
Can you see a frontside air?
Now I can.
There was a guy named Dana Gust at Sadlands who rode a unicycle, and he kind of his one leg would kind of go out, right? So Neil started doing these ollies and frontside airs where he'd gust his leg, like his front knee is so far tweaked, and just sick as hell though.
I love the word gust.
Yeah, gust. I don't know if it's still used in skate tricks. There's that, a sweeper on the hip. That was a clover hip. So, I'll just go through some of these. I don't have to explain each one.
No.
There's a backside ollie. I mean, come on.
Wow.
I know, right? That's me, just to show you that I did used to skate.
Wow, sick, dude.
Frontside tail slide. Yeah. That was clover. That part of the clover was rad. It was like a perfect. I couldn't get much done in the keyhole, but I did all right in the clover. Yeah, there's my frontside air in the clover. Oh, can you see that though?
Yeah. Who's in the background?
Okay. I think that might be Jeff.
Oh, okay.
And there's a full pipe.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say though. There's a full pipe. To the right of that's a kid. Yeah. To the right of that's a kidney, and then to the further right is a half pipe, which was kind of tight. And then way over to the left is the keyhole, which you can't see in this picture.
Oh,
all right. There was our average days. John and I this was our dress up to go to school, right? Lucero, of course, loved the London thing. Johnny.
All my guns.
Yeah, well, I was a little, yeah. And then Grosso does look like a young Johnny Rotten, but he was jumped into a lot of shit. So, yeah. Well, and that's in front of my house. So, like I said, after skating or before skating, like you'd get together and do stupid shit.
What year is that about?
81, probably.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Fucking cool.
I got a better slide, but I was so cheap. That's the colored negative. That's Lance on his ramp before it's built doing a lean air.
Veriflex.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can still see the cuttings of the ramp being made. I mean, this is to answer your question. I mean, this is what he was doing, right? He was at Skate City, but training himself at home. And his lovely wife Yvette's in the bottom left. It's pretty sick. I mean, this was so Alhambra from here is about 30 minutes. He lived there, so. When we all started driving, I drove later than them. I could get to and then this was like a fun day, go to Lance. This one's just kind of funny because he was a local named Cameron Tabatite, and that's a pretty fun frontside invert. Those Cameron, is he still in the skating world? I mean, he was a character, and
I don't know.
I guess I have to say it with love. He loved Eddie Elguera. The famous quote was he'd come up to you and be like, "Did you see my frontside hand plant?" And be like, yeah. He's like, "I've been doing frontside hand plants longer than Eddie Elguera." And you're just like, what? There's Cameron. And I don't want to bore you. All these things have great stories. There's a picture. I wish I had a better. It's a negative. See, sorry.
Is that a thruster?
Yeah, it's Lance on a low-C doing a thruster. But
nice.
It's not. Yeah. Ah. Look at that. Who does a layback grind anymore? So this is on the same roll. Neil at Del Mar doing a layback grind.
Damn.
And again, who's in the back? Cabby's there. Yeah, and this was special because Neil lent me his wide angle lens, I think, and I was like, well, there's Losi. Yeah, I think he's standing next to me or something because there was a poster made of Losi with a hand-drawn Lance graphic of the booze bottle and cup there. Yeah, there's a day in Del Mar. I think they were practicing for the 85 contest maybe, or... No, it says 82 on... I don't know. Maybe this was before... Yeah, because Jeff here is still on Veriflex, so I don't know. They can tell you the date. That's a young Grosso. Lucero was on Zorlak. So there was that period, like John went from... GNS to, I think Zorlak, and then Veriflex for a minute. and Zorlak, where he did his own graphics and stuff. So there's Neil again.
Looks like he's beaming the camera, like.
Yeah, but that's a different frontside invert. You know what I mean? It was like he'd kind of go up ollie-oop, tuck it the whole other way, and then come in. As a better, this is, I titled this one "What Skateboarding Is." Look, no one's there.
That's insane.
He's just doing this thing to perfectly learn how to do the invert and kind of gust the back leg or whatever.
Yeah.
It's timeless, isn't it?
Fuck yeah. I mean,
and then there's his sad plant. He's sweet. You can see the guy with the plaid shorts across the way is Low C.
Okay.
But yeah, this was all the same. And then there's another one of Neil trying to do a little more.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. So, but I was lucky to have these subject matters, right? Yeah, there's Grosso Andrecht with Neil walking in the background. I don't know if you guys can see this.
This is so cool.
Oh, good. Yeah, tell me if I'm boring you.
No, I could look at this shit for hours. I love it.
Or if we're on there, there's a Rad Lucero. He's always wearing like Hawaiian pants.
Yeah, people might not know that Johnny used to get upside down in bowls.
Oh yeah, he ripped, dude. He was up there with them. That's what I'm saying. He was my closest friend skating. These guys were just doing skating, and that's when he asked me, "Could you tell who was really up there?" And same with Tony Hawk. Tony Hawk would be a skinny kid, drop in and do amazing one or two acrobatic tricks, but after a while he was going wall to wall with flipping out, and you're like, what? But see, I don't know if people don't know Del Mar. The opening mouth to it had these weird transitions, like going in, and the wall John's on was kind of almost unrideable, like this weird other. Yeah, you could kind of see it behind him there. Yeah, here he is doing a frontside air. Grosso on deck trying to push in.
Oh yeah, sick, dude.
Grosso invert.
Grossman.
See, that's what I'm talking about right there. He would do those grinds for blocks, and that
kind of an early Smith grind, right? Like it's locked in, like lapped in, no?
Yeah, but he would go for blocks, man. It was like that one. The Copers I'd get as hand-me-downs were scooped on the wrong side.
Yeah.
There's a lean air. See, that's his other Alex falling graphic that was his second graphic. So again, he was drawing these hand-drawn ink drawings made to graphics, which is no way. There's the method. That's the method.
Woo!
David Andrick there, pushed further by Neil. On deck, you got Stedham on your right, Hawk, Spidey in the middle.
Wow. When you're taking these photos, have you taken photos for a while and you're confident, or are you like, I hope these turn out?
I'm learning, brother. I had a photo class. I had my father's Petrie camera, which was kind of minimal. So I learned on that. Then I got a Canon A1, and Neil had Canon A1s, and
I had one too.
Switch. Yeah. I think we all, that generation.
That's the first camera for our generation, right? Yeah. I mean, when I talk to Mofo about it, and he's kind of humble nowadays, he used to have this persona, and now he's kind of more humbled, but he says, oh, I didn't know what I was doing. I just switched the thing, took a photo, hoped it turned out. I was like, I don't know, dude. Come on.
No. Well, you kind of did, because at the time you set the f-stop and the speed and hope it came out. This is also rad, though. The toe-ons, so Neil would take worn-out pieces of leather from other shoes and shoe glue them onto the toes or the lace areas there.
Oh yeah, God, that's
and then
a
I had
sick photo.
I made something called hog-ons, which were old rector kneecaps. If the bottom wears out, take the top and
like a recap.
Yeah, like the bottom half of the.
What'd you call it? A hog-on?
Yeah, because they had whatever shoe-ons, they had toe-on.
Oh damn, Sadlands.
We'll get more. Yeah, sorry. This is a Chris Miller contest one. I'll get more to that. But see, again, this one's out of phase. But on that same roll, I would have Sadlands. Here's Lucero doing a sweeper at Sadlands.
Right.
Yeah.
Sick.
This is me doing an ollie to tail. So Sadlands had a tall area and a short area.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's me ollie to tail. See, look, I was so lucky. That's a 757 board that I got from Neil.
Mm-hmm.
He's just he's still generous, but he would hand down boards, and there's my friend Mark Hunter. Fuck, Mark Hunter. Well, there was like Mark was a buddy. We'd finish high school, get home, and be like, either go to Sadlands and practice shit, and then go to Skate City, or go to Sadlands after Skate City closed. So there, that's John. That's pretty ballsy too. Doing you're in air, backside air on the big side at Sadlands.
Dude, look at that place.
And unreal that there was this transition on these little things. And Neil dominated. There's another part that's craters that Neil would slide and roll around and stuff. There's Mark again doing a lip slide or ollie pop.
And that's kind of near where you guys lived?
Right. So that's in La Palma, or let's say Buena Park, which is most people might know as Knott's Berry Farms in Buena Park.
Oh, okay.
The Sadlands was just down the street. But Terrence, Lester, Lynn Cooper, Greg DuCollin, Pinky, these guys would come to Skate City. This was the crew, and they came from Sadlands, and I'm sure I'm missing some folks. That was the '80s Sadlands. There's groups after. That's what I mean. It was kind of interchangeable. If you're going to go there, you go to Skate City, you practice, you go there, whatever. And then Skate City closed. Sadlands was still open for a while before they didn't bulldoze it, but they built a huge trench around the transition area there and filled it with big rocks. Lucero, backside lip slide, pretty rad.
Fuck yeah.
Mark on the rocks. Tell me if I'm going too fast. That's kind of a frontside air, early takeoff. Here's the demise of Skate City.
Ooh.
Yeah, these are kind of sad.
Were you guys just devastated when that happened?
Yeah, because we were young kids. We don't know business. We don't know what the owner's thinking. And it was like, he sold the park. Oh. But, a lot of parks closed at the time. Shortly after us, Del Mar, Upland closed, and then it became, and they were the two closest kind of other parks, and then it became ramps. People. That's why Lance was ahead of the game. He already had an amazing ramp that went through a couple stages. So that first picture I showed you, it was in his. I got some coming up where he had a different stage of the ramp. Yeah, but there was our favorite half pipe. That even now to see this really hurts.
Oh yeah, fuck.
But actually that's the kidney on the right and the full pipe on the left, which. Now I can tell the story. One of the craziest things I've seen was picture the full pipe still. Let me try. I was going to blow this up, but I'm not good. Okay. Tony Hawk did a frontside rock and roll in that back oververt part of the full pipe. That was like really amazing.
Wow.
Oh, that's Bubbles. Again, this is just a crew. Again, those are more. That's Del Mar again, Grosso. That's me. I think these other guys, they showed up at the park too. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have cell phones. Good. We didn't, so that was Steve Flarza and Bubbles was guy Scott Crosby. So they were kind of local. See, this is the local younger kids. They just kind of show up. So that day, I don't know why I went up there for a photo project and they were there. So, we're just fucking around taking pictures.
Yeah. No. That's the worst when they it's gone. Because you take it for granted for a while. Like you're like, this is never going to leave. And then all of a sudden it does. You're like, wait, what?
Yeah. Now there's a cherished moment. This is like what I remember Skate City. Sun going down. I got to work the 4 o'clock to 10 o'clock shift or whatever. Lance gets off work and he goes skate. He's in the capsule in a weird, the end of it, the tranny was, the cement was rough, first of all. It was just a pool no one really rode. And this cat's doing these frontside inverts, in the most obscure spots. But that's why it became his park, too. He just ruled it. He just, he could try things in different areas. There's pictures Neil's taken that are really great in the kidney and in the clover. Again, same day, shirtless, Andrecht in the corner. My terrible composition, but yeah. Oh, see, again, I wish I had this better. No one really rode the half pipe, and this cat's doing frontside airs in the half pipe. It's amazing. Yeah. Park closed down. You see the graffiti and stuff. So this is like 82. Okay. And I remember it was in the spring because I remember I chipped my elbow and I couldn't skate, so I was taking pictures. I chipped it there, that riding without pads. I never got hurt at Skate City except for hippers. And then when the park closed, I was skating and chipped my elbow, so I started taking pictures. But yeah, John's ripping there.
Yeah.
Zorlak, he's got a Gibson Zorlak. Yeah, there's Steve Slarza that kid I just showed on the Raw, he was ripping. There was a lot of young rippers, you know.
For sure.
They're the original skate girls, Monica Dewey and Kim Cuban, who were they worked at the skate park, you know. You know, that was isn't that crazy? That was a great happy accident there. John wearing a 999 shirt doing a layback in the clover with the slide slip on the right side.
Yeah, that's so sick.
But on that, you do see Bubbles, John
Look at
Drury,
that style with the hand just perfect over the head.
Oh, my God. Well, I don't have it, but that picture of Jay Smith doing a layback in the keyhole was just monster. When that happened at that contest. And so, yeah, laybacks of this style, you were just mimicking Jay Smith, you know. Yeah, here's the unfortunate button down of the park after.
Okay.
Yeah.
Black Flag, 45 Grave.
Yeah, and there's a kind of overview. So they had a freestyle section to the side, the half pipe, the kidney over there, and there's the clover. Yeah.
Okay.
Then there's a contest. Yeah, John Rippin, he was playing Zorlak. See, there's John backside here. Neil frontside here. Yeah.
Got a John Gibson board.
Yeah. There's Neil Andrecht. Hosoi, young Hosoi.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, again, this must have been 81. Yeah, there's another bad Hago. We can get through those. That one, though, I look like the graphic. I always like that. Neil's Alex graphic of the guy falling with his hand. There's a guy named Gregor O'Rankin doing
Gregor. Australian guy, right?
It's New Zealand, I believe.
Oh, New Zealand. Gregor Rankin, number one.
See, again,
Lee Ralph used to talk about him.
Yeah. This is on the same roll of film. This is at Steve Stedham at Upland. Lucero at Upland. See, this was his Veriflex time, so before the Gibson. Nice layback air by John there. Did you ever ride Upland?
Yeah, I was going to ask you because I just talked to Spidey a little while ago, and do you think it was true that, he said, if you were pro and you didn't skate Upland, you were a pussy, basically?
Well, he's hung up on all this macho shit, you know. I'm kidding. Well, most definitely it was a benchmark because the badasses were there, the Dwaynes, the Salvas, the kind of aggro thing, you know. So, yeah, if you really proved your muscle, if you handled it there. That's why when Neil won that contest, and there's that centerfold of his Andrecht, he hated that park. I think, I don't want to phrase it for him, but it was a tough park to ride in. Yeah. He just ruled. He ruled that contest and really just controlled everybody. That's a bad Caballero, but this is a good Eddie Radegui for, you know, if you don't know him. There's a young Grant Britton on the surface.
I see.
Taking with a mustache, taking a picture. Grant, are you listening? Probably not. No one's going to hear this thing. No one's going to watch this.
Nobody watches these now.
Young Chris Miller, that's rad. You know, Neil. But this is like a Saturday morning, you know, dude. It was just like, fuck, what am I doing my Saturday? Oh, I'm going to go to the skate park up the street and watch this amazing contest. Here's another Del Mar prep for the contest. There's Neil with his methods. Lester, I think I got a few. There's a great guy, Billy Beauregard. I met him for the first time. He came and visited Lucero when they were on Veriflex. And that's a tuck knee invert to fakie.
Damn.
You know, so he's posting up, and then he's dropping back in fakie. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's classic Neil, man. There's your Andrick. Don Hoffman announcing back there. Frank Hawks back there, too. Yeah. But these are the crowds. That were, well, I guess you were fortunate to get on the deck back then.
Right.
Well, but you can see in the bleachers, that's pretty much what they had, like two big bleachers behind the pool. But this is the keyhole. This is the Whittier keyhole. That was pretty good size. I think from the pro skaters I know that liked it. But see, those are the copers I'm talking about.
Right. Damn.
That Neil, and then the one side would be so scooped, both the white washer and the red coper.
I think those were trackers.
Trackers, yeah. There's another Skate City, my friend Mark Hunter. Well, I can forward through some of these. That's a ripper, though. Lucero with the park closed down.
Woo!
Yeah. Oh, he went on, gosh, who is that guy? He's a famous BMX biker.
Matt Hoffman?
No.
Dave Haro?
No, BBR. I don't know. Lucero. Yeah, you can see my subject matters were sometimes the same people.
It was a good cast.
Yeah. See, and then every time I'd hand the camera over to someone else,
they'd chop it.
So yeah, there's Lucero missing my frontside rock. But yeah, some of these I don't want to bore you. I know. Sorry.
Sweet, man.
You know, let me because I'm gonna end with a few. Let me do this. There's a young Nash at a contest. Skinny Eric when Eric wrote for GNS. But again, look at the bleachers back there. Malba.
6 people.
Malba ripping.
Malba ripped.
Lester. I know. Lester. Lance Fast Plant, I think. Lance Corner.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Early fasty.
That's a fun one with Christian at the bottom walking out. Billy Ruff. This is a contest, yeah. Ooh. Might have been warm up too. That's Billy Ruff. Mike McGill. Young Lance, frontside invert. I wish that was better crop, but see, that's pretty impressive for a skinny young Tony Hawk to be
Birdman,
that
yeah.
Yeah, that's a good tuck knee frontside
good
Tony.
Good tuck knee too, yep.
Yeah.
Take that, all you style haters.
I know. And then there's, I know, right? And then there's a Nash. I mean, I admire these kids so much. These were small, skinny kids, and the pool was huge, you know? Malba, Nash. Gator.
Oh.
Gator doing the Roto-Rooter, which was an interesting little nugget of a trick. No, I think I'm about done. Yeah. So, and then these are fun just for, Lance's ramp. But also, I mean, this was going on at the time, right? Me and John would find anything we could skate. So this was Scott School.
Boneless on the banks.
Yeah. So you'd find these, like this, you know, we'd have a whole session here of just having fun skating. And I think it says no skateboards allowed back there. John's ripping. He was stylish always, had his rockabilly hair and sleep. That's a great photo. I know the fence is focused. He's not, but that's a great Bertelman on the banks. Yeah, there's another. So these are spots. We both went to Fullerton College for a while, and driving home, we'd see these slopes and things, and be like, you know, next time bring the boards. We're gonna do this thing, and but this is all on this. This is what I'm saying. It's all in the same roll of film. You know, so
that's amazing.
I never quite knew what I would get until until they get them developed, and some of them are just kind of. Sadly, that's a good Grosso. But
what were you shooting back then? Would you shoot slide film or print film? This
is all print.
Okay.
Now this is sick. We all met at Lance's for a session, and Neil let me borrow his. I think it's 17 millimeter or 14 wide angle fisheye, and I was just so. There's a lot of gems here.
Get close.
Well, ooh. I was so amazed. Like,
damn, that was my first board, I think.
The Ray Bones?
Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah, that's his ramp later. Painted it blue. It's more constructed. I think it was a little wider, and it was just amazing that somebody owned that in their backyard and they'd practice on it. That's Neil.
Yeah, Lockett Lances was so sick.
Yeah, Mike Smith. A lot of these are shitty, but there's some killers coming up.
But everybody came through, right?
Yeah, at some point or another, sure. But this is like a weird random day. I think it may have been a summertime or a weekday or maybe a weekend day. I don't know. That's, you know, there's a rad Andrecht, Neil. Lance, sorry.
Oh, shit.
But that's his house up to the right.
Right.
Well, you've all seen the videos.
Yeah.
So Smith. Rad frontside invert Lance. Yeah. And again, these were like, to your point, I was learning to shoot photos, man. I didn't really think about composition, or I guess I did, but this one's sick because that's a yellow pieces of tape put on a board before he did the rocking horse paint pen graphic Neil drew.
For
those of us that are That's pretty ultimate for me. An eggplant like no other. Okay, he takes the style of a frontside invert with a gusted leg. Eggplant, just wham.
And look at that hat.
Oh yeah, he was wearing his beret at the time.
The beret.
There's one not as sick. There's that, sick graphic too. You know what? On that one, can I do this? I don't know if look at that. That's the pieces of tape.
Oh,
an idea for broken nose taped off. And early release.
Is that before Rip Grip?
Yeah, probably. Look at this. Early release Mike Smith, freaking
floater.
Black side air.
Damn.
The positions of their feet were always amazing, like when they were landing tricks. Like his foot is right there. It's not off the edge. It's not too far one way or the other. Wow, there's a red mute air, as we would say, from Lance. Neil Smith again, backside. See the Coper, the indie Coper? The young kids out there, people used to wear Copers.
Yeah.
Eddie Radigi was on PAL for a minute. There's your...
Copers on coping is weird. Metal, or like Cooper on metal coping.
Yeah, fluff, just kind of a fluffy... Yeah, there's a... No, it's like... Well, I don't know that. That's about 2014, John and I at Van Skate.
There you go.
I was doing my Dwayne, I think. Oh, all right, that's it. So let me...
Shout out, John.
Shout out to John. John's there, yeah, Black Label, he's doing it. So wait, how was that?
That was epic. That was our first ever slideshow right here on Talkin Schmit.
Well, hey, I'm glad. I hope the audience digs it. They probably took a bunch of screenshots and they're going to go copy the pictures, huh?
We'll do a fucking little...
Everybody needs a fan club.
Well, tell me about the art and the school and all that, like your next chapter, because I didn't realize till after we got off the phone that you did something, or you do something that's really fucking cool, and had to do with Mark Waters and the kids and the Minor Threat Day.
Yeah, that's not me. That's big shout out to our friend Eric Caruso if he's listening. If anybody watches this damn thing, now
hit the like button if you watch it.
Oh, rad.
But was that the Operation Creative Freedom? Is that what that is?
Operation Creative Freedom is Tim Kerr's brainchild, maybe, but collaborating with Eric Caruso, phenomenal dude, just a wholehearted, beautiful human, works at a nearby Paramount middle school, right, 0 through 6. I don't know how he got to know Tim and the skateboarding world. I first met him years back. He saw an art show of mine and said, I love your stuff. I do this thing with my kids. Give me a minute. I'm getting to the music, but he gets major players like Shepard Fairey, me. No, I'm kidding. All these artists and Tim Kerr, he uses their artwork as sort of a model. Like mine was about color and sound at the time I was making these abstract paintings based on music. So he made all his students listen to music and then make drawings based on their structure abstractly of color and sound. I mean, they could have images. You'd have Shepard Fairey, and he taught them all how to make screen prints or wood blocks, and they made political posters like Shepard's posters. And then Tim, for example, does his work. Ray Barbie's been involved. He teaches them photography, and then
so cool.
Then the kids put on this art show, and we get to judge it, which is awesome. We give away some of our own work. Like Shepard gave away posters to these kids as a prize.
Wow.
Yeah, and mine, I framed a bunch of little things, and so that's the art component. The music component. While they're doing that, our friend Eric gets the kids to learn a song. Plans to stay in June, and we all come out to the playground, play the song, and they sing along. we did Minor Threat, but we've done like Why Can't We Be Friends? We just did it this summer with the Kids Are United, Sham 69. So yeah, that's not my I thought you were going to talk about my college teaching, but yeah, that's Eric getting young. Well, again, pivotal age, 12, 13, sixth graders to think about music in a different way, And big kudos to him. He has a relationship with his principal. They add it to the curriculum. They get it in there, and because not everyone's going to let the kids sing punk rock on a playground with.
I mean, the Minor Threat one, I think, is the one that reached me. That was the first time I knew about it. And then I talked to Tim Kerr, and he said something like, what do you say?
You just influenced somebody.
Good. Fucking, you're a pro at this visual video world. Yeah, no, then Mike Watt, Uncle Grumpy comes in, and Mike Watt, I mean, fuck, Neil and I grew up like watching Mike Watt or the fire hose, like Mike Watt, and then he shows up, and rehearsing with him's great. He's just like business. He's like, okay, what do we got? I got 30 minutes. Let me plug in here. What key are we in? And then it's just go. He's rad though. He's generous. He puts in his time. Him and Tim are buddies. Steve Alba played one year.
Dude, that was one of the most mind-blowing shows I've seen to this day.
So it's this great culture of skateboarding, music, art.
It's an annual thing then.
It is, but those motherfuckers, because I can cuss on your show
Fucking fuck.
They fired him. Or they relocated Eric. Again, this cat has put in 20 plus years of this amazing system building. They didn't fire him because of the music thing or any of that. I just think they're moving their people around. They're like, you got to go to this other district. So, but yeah, I think for 13 years or so, maybe more, he did. Yeah, Ray Barbie was involved. O's been involved. But there's some. Randy Randall's is great. He's there. One time I played, Fred Armisen came. I mean,
no way.
Well, he was friends with Randy, I think, or one of the trumpet players.
Sick.
Yeah. So there's that.
Oh man, I saw Fred Armisen do a comedy show all on the drums. He was just playing the drums and talking about. It was so cool. It was like really amazing. Different.
Well, then he's got the fake English guy thing. He does.
Oh yeah.
Billy Blunt or no, what is it? Yeah, but he's amazing when he comes on. He's so good.
He's a good dude. Yeah, speaking of music, Cranny told me to ask you who your favorite South Bay, Los Angeles band of all time is.
South Bay? I mean, that would be Minutemen or, Watt, because they were... South Bay is like Torrance in that area, and they were San Pedro, so... Is that what he means?
I don't know. You never know what Cranny means.
Yeah, he's high all the time.
Smoking drugs?
I don't know if he's being sarcastic, because... I'm an old idiot. I don't current stuff going on. There's a lot of great shit. I don't pretend to know it. I'm still stuck in my mod world, my jazz world, and there's a lot of great bands. Yeah.
I'm gonna try to do my best Cranny impression right now.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
What's your favorite Alktang? Tequila, fine whiskey? Hit me with some funny shit, babe.
All right. Alktang is a Neil term. Hit me with some funny shit is a Neil term. So he's got to come up with some original. Love you, babe.
Cranny's the original pickle lover, and he's a cherry soda connoisseur, and he's also got a tap that is mean as hell.
A tap?
Yeah.
Oh, a tail tap. I should have. I didn't bore you. I got a whole. He's solid, man. I love that dude.
Scoosh.
But I got a shitty quarter pipe cement thing in my front yard. Photos of him ripping on that thing from probably 2009. Yeah, 2009.
The old Crail wraparound tail tap.
Crail wraps. He rode up onto the wall, ollied up, crazy. Oh, up to the bricks. I got bricks but all
Cranny
stuff. Cranny rips, dude. He's beautiful.
Stale fish. Poof. He's like one of my best friends.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. Well, for this podcast, he is my best friend.
I have 2 8th grade diplomas.
And for this podcast, he is the best skater I know, and he smells good.
Yeah, and I love him. And he might be the only one watching, but it doesn't matter.
No, I'm very fortunate. I fell into a group. Well, I knew him through Black Label, right, when he wrote for John. But Neil's Neil's place is special, and he's got a shed that we all jam in. You know.
Yeah, I've gotten the privilege to do that once. That was
yeah. So Cranny is a really good musician when he wants to. I mean, he is a good drummer. He gets pissed at himself. Here's Cranny drumming. Fuck! Yeah. If he misses a beat, Cranny's great. Big love to that fucker. He's
You obviously know Brian Blender. You got any Brian Blender stories?
So many. Brian's the best. He's the true. A lot of the shit he says, like Dick Skinner, stuff. Neil was adopted. Was Brian? Brian was. I got a lot of great shit. I don't even know what to tell you, man.
Brian's older, right?
Yeah, I think he's a self-made lawyer too. Like the last time I saw him was the Fullerton house they all lived in like '87 or something. And I'm like, "What are you gonna do?" And he's like, "I'm reading books, fucker. What do you think?" And he's like, "I'm gonna." Like stuff like, and O borrowed this too. Stuff like, "Did you think it wasn't?" Or, "How good is that? How good is that Rickenbacker you own? Would Bob Weller want that Rickenbacker?" He's like, Brian was rad. Oh, another unique fucking character on his own pace. But yeah, he became a lawyer, moved to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. He's got kids. I'm very fortunate. Suzanne, Neil's sister's rad, and I think I saw them all at Suzanne's house once a while back. But great stuff though. Sounds. I didn't start getting into Marantz stereo receivers and old school speakers, JBLs, if it weren't for Brian. And then Neil would get him. And then he and I, what's he got? Okay. And then I'd get one too. And then, it was just, I don't know. There's a lot. He's a good guy.
Okay. You want to do a little this or that?
Sure. Yeah. Cause I hope I'm not boring your people, man. I'm just rambling, but yeah, I like that you're feeding me stuff. Go for it. How does this work?
Stories galore over here. Well, we always started out with pie or ice cream.
Ice cream.
All right. Electric or acoustic?
Electric.
Minutemen or fire hose?
Minutemen.
The Who or the Jam?
The Jam.
Del Mar or Whittier?
The Whittier.
Front side or back side?
Front side for me. Yeah.
Andrecht or eggplant?
Andrecht.
Madonna or Sean Penn?
Madonna. Come on. Madonna.
Out at the cuisine, Chinese or sushi?
Chinese.
Dog or cat?
Dog with the comma. I didn't even own a dog or be around dogs till since my kids were born. So yeah, but we have a French poodle now that's like human. So yeah. Those are great. You didn't do those just for me.
Yeah, I do. I've been doing them every episode for the last 4 or 5. I just started
not those same things.
No. I always create ones for people specifically.
Yeah, that's cool. Because Jam or Who or Andrecht or Eggplant's kind of right up my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Anyway,
what about Gibson or Fender?
I own more Fenders.
You're supposed to say Rickenbacker.
Oh, yeah, Rickenbacker. Well, I'm trying to be loyal to your questioning because
okay.
I own way too many guitars, but I own more Fenders than Gibsons, but I do like Gibsons a lot. So, but Rickenbacker. Yeah.
What about the casters? Stratocaster versus Telecaster?
Telecaster. I got 9.
Telecaster.
But Tellies, we were just talking about this driving home last night with Eddie. He doesn't own a Telly, and he was like, why? I know they're like, I got to get one. They're the most basic, straight workhorse. Like I said, I have 7, but they all have different pickup configurations, and besides the colors. Plus, I painted them. I was very lucky. A friend worked, Alex Perez, at Fender, and I could get, and again, through Mark Waters. Mark Waters really helped so many people.
Shout out, Mark.
Yeah, big love to Mark. But
that was tough.
Still tough, man. I mean, his kid's growing up, and they know his family, and you're just watching going, that did not have to happen, But, sorry, I was lucky I'd get guitars at cheap rate, and I'd paint on them and Frankenstein, put in different pickups. I like those questions, though, the this and that.
So what are you doing nowadays with music? Are you just noodling by yourself, or do you get together and jam with people? Are you in a band? What?
Thank you for asking. I mean, again, when Mark passed, which has been almost 4 or 5 years now, that ended a lot. You know, we'd play all the time. He was really great, not just as musically connected, him, me, and Tom Meow. Tom, if you watch this, big love to Tom. He's another lifelong creator. I kind of fell back. You know, I paint. I have a whole painting career. I have a studio in downtown LA, and I exhibit work and paint. So you got to divide your time. But during COVID, I think I was telling you or not, I was teaching at home from the computer, so it burned me out. But I made more recordings than paintings because I would that was my outlet. I just go into my studio and record and all that. So musically now I record, I get tons of shit, and then I try to find a good drummer like Eddie, who fortunately his parents live down the street. So he's got a child now, so he's regularly there. I'm like, hey Eddie, come on up. And then he just one time, boom. And then big shout out to Matt Scholl's B Zisk, a good friend of Neil's who we met in Ohio, who played music with Neil. He's in a great couple bands, Holy Fuck, Zavak, and these. I emailed him shit. And then he'd email me back the drum track, and I mix it in. So I'm kind of cobbling recordings as well. Drummers, their drummers are hard. Lance is a great drummer. I haven't seen him in a while. He used to come and record and play. I'm playing music, but honestly, I just turned 59. You know, as an artist, you're looking at that 60-year-old thing of like making shit happen, and my art career could probably be doing pretty well in the next if I really keep pushing through, and I can retire in 5 years, so it's like,
ooh, that's
so
cool.
I've been teaching 25 years, so it's I don't just say that lightly, but no, I'm very blessed. I've had a college teaching job for 25 years at a nearby Cerritos College, so but yeah, I play all the time. I mean, you can see there's a guitar there. I'm very fortunate. I have a recording studio, a painting studio, and a very tolerant wife.
I want to make my wife happy.
No, again, we're both artists and empty nesting now. The kids are 28, 29. They moved out, so our house is pretty just flowing with the art and creative thing. Yeah.
What would you say to somebody that's a generation behind you, as far as like growing older gracefully? Like, what type of things have you done to switch gears to kind of acclimate to your body breaking down, maybe your mind a little, and all these things?
Well, body, keep moving, right? I mean, no matter how tired you are, you have to go for a walk now, or a bike ride, or yoga stretches on the ground, or swimming. Swimming is awesome. I love it. I'm not great. My wife's a fish. She's really good. Like she swims for miles, like an hour straight.
Damn.
I put my head down and do this. She does the whole tuck to the side and breathe. I would say exercise. Anything. That's why skating is rad. And even with Neil, he's got this polarizer and he still moves so good. And he's skimboards like, heated wheel props.
Shout out Ed Dominic too.
Ed has done fucking great work with that, because the graphics he does is amazing. And I think the world is happy. They see all these. You can buy a board now with a Neil graphic on it that you would have never seen,
I love me some Neil Blender, man.
So exercise is crucial. Mentally, you cannot close your mind. That's all I say. I mean, I'm a college professor. I get students starting at 18, until they transfer about 25 or 24. But COVID effed them up. COVID, socially, these kids did not learn how to talk or communicate. So I think we're just back at that, and their artwork's interesting, and they like to talk and have critiques. But I had to change my mentality about how I deal with humans through that, and I think, and I mean everything from helping the disabled kid to the politics that come with being in a college, to funding, to global politics, to world politics, to local politics. And if you stay in your same brain, it will kill you. It will eat you up, I think. But I'm fortunate. My wife's amazing. If you have a partner, I think, to share life with, you're lucky. And we're going at 35 years. My circle, I call it your tribe, right? You got to know your tribe. If you surround yourself with those people you love, that you can. Not to say being only closed-minded, homogenous, but my group, I'm in 2 art collectives, and that keeps me fully active and fertile. Like I got one that's 30-year-olds and one that's 50-year-olds.
Nice.
They show different work. The younger group shows what's coming out now, and that's so rad to me. Like even the queer culture or things that are happening. That's why you cannot close your mind to what's going on around us. Then we turn into old grumpy men. Get off, get off my lawn.
We can't get there.
Dude, I know. I can't believe I'm almost 60 and still breathing. I don't know, man. I'm just lucky, and I told you I had a weird health thing all year, so I'm finding better and.
That's a blessing, and then you look at things differently. That's kind of what I was leading towards. Yeah, hey, I just got a text message here, live in the interview from one Jason Lee Jesse.
No way!
I skateboard, but I'm an artist. I love art, and I love you.
Yeah, he said that his first graphics on Consolidated were paintings you didn't want to sell to Stacy.
That might be giving me some kind of like old school credit or something, but
is that true or false?
It's quite true. Jason, I love you, and I'm fucking chuffed, as they say in England, overexcited that even happened. I don't know if I saw the graphics, but so to go, that's fucking great, Jason. So I guess he's listening. Someone's listening to this. I didn't know this was live.
No, it's not. I texted him earlier because I knew that he had I wanted to try to see if he had an early question for you or something.
Oh, that's great. You're so good, man. I like all that.
Little research.
Yeah, but again, Jason, I haven't seen. Oh, I did see him at a Mark Gonzalez art show like 5 years. That was great too. I hadn't seen him. It's quite possible because I gave Jason, I remember 2 paintings, Jason. They were the first, like I did in community college, Picasso-esque, a reclining man and a woman. The man had like anchors in the background. The woman had flower. They're kind of terrible. They're bad. And again, even Neil and I were going through this Picasso thing of like the profile nose that's where his spray paint, he ruled it. I gave those to Jason. Stacy Peralta also was very generous early on. You can look at Animal Chin video. I'm in that. Whatever. I have a goatee. But he asked me to bring paintings when they do the Johnny Rad at that little club
at
where
the Blue Tile Lounge.
Ratty Daddy Daddy.
Yeah. Skate and destroy. Doesn't matter if you're girl or boy. I love skating.
I know. He said, and here I go into my Stacy Peralta impression, right? Hey, Hiccup, man, could you bring some of those paintings? I really like them as a backdrop while we film the guys, in the scene. And I'm like, yeah, I guess so. So I had some paintings there, if Jason's talking about that. And Stacy's very generous, though. He does own a couple things of mine, but dude, I'm stoked, Jason. If that happened, I wonder which one it is. I was learning realism and stuff, but I was like, wow, Picasso. And I made these paintings, and some of them, I don't know where they're at. Some got destroyed, and
they might be in Jason's warehouse.
Yeah, well, and Neil, I'm fucking still fucking floored. I go to Neil's house, and he's still got old shit hanging around him. Like,
sick.
Yeah.
Fun fact about Jason is he drove my wife's parents to our wedding in his old fucking 52 truck.
Yeah.
And so the whole thing's filmed. He's driving them up to our wedding site, and he looks back and he goes, "You guys want to just go to the mall and skip this?"
yeah. We don't want the pressure of a wedding. Let's go to the mall. Yeah, that's awesome. Now, Jason,
funny.
again,
I love him. He's one of my good friends too.
Another one of those just wonderful fucking weirdos we all love, grow up with, So, yeah. Again, was it a time when? That's what I wonder. These younger generation, they're there. They're there. They still love that fuck around and whatever, thing, and how far it pushed the limit of screwing with a friend and support them. I think because that's the thing I learned with Mark Waters was very generous in that he's in Orange, and there was an area near him called Browntown, which we're all Mexican kids, and he funded these kids, When he worked at Etnies, he had this backyard skate park.
Yeah.
Pool. Hey, clean the pool, I'll give you 2 pairs of shoes. Hey, I'm going to work today. If you come help clean the ramp, But he'd take them cross-country tour. Hey, your job is to get all the boards out, ready for this thing. We're going to do a game of skate. But they're all grown into young men now with families. They still text me, and when they skate, like I'd watch them skate, they still had that same thing we all did. Like, you know, I'm going to go up and do a, you know, pivot on the truck to Slappy, and then you got to go up and do this, and then you push each other. Oh, let's go get some food, and then go back and skate. It's hot, you're sweating, it doesn't matter, you do it. So I think that thing's still there, but our group, I mean, you had, look how lucky we were. You know, we had Jason, we had Neil, we had Lance, we had all these characters, and that's what I'm saying. I think Del Mar had its vibe, Whittier definitely, and I'm sure all these cats would agree with you, Tony and Adrian Domain, you know, Dave Swift, and then Upland had its thing, and then Whittier was, special.
Well,
and Grosso, big love to Grosso and Nash, Steve Keenan, Steve Keenan, who went to Santa Cruz, Steve Cochran, Spidey, you know, they were this kind of like other Lance family that came. You know, Neil brought his people, Brad Jackman and
Steve
Jim
Clark.
Gray. Yeah, right. And then Whittier had its thing, Lucero and me, and you know. So anyway,
good times,
thank you
man.
For letting me. If it helps anyone, I mean, thanks for letting me relive. But why are you listening to me? It made a foundation in me so deep that I still know these cats and I talk to them. Right, and we love each other. We know. That's what happens with skateboarding or any of these young tribes, you know, and the art world too. I know a lot of my students that meet at a young age and are still friends, and you know, and music world is the same maybe, but skating's something special because it was kind of outlawed for a while, you know, sort of seen as thug life, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways, it was the Wild West. It was Hell's Angels. It was just like a small group of people that got it. Like whatever it was, you didn't have to worry about it because it was this thing that we were all a part of. Then it blew up, and you had to explain it to people that were getting into it. And you're like, I can't explain it. If you weren't there, I can't explain it. Sorry. Yeah.
And I'll end on, or because we're probably going to end soon, but to that point, I was very fortunate. Through Tony Hawk, you know, and internet and skateboarding, I met Paul Weller and got to be pretty good friends. Yeah, with them because the wife too. You know, they saw this Instagram post. Tony did in the city, and then I said, "Hey, Tony, it's great, but he's got these new albums." It was during COVID, and the wife saw that Tony was hyped, and she's all, "Hey, our kids skateboard. It's really great that you like skateboarding, Tony." And he's like, or you like the jam, you know? And then he's like, yeah, but if it weren't for this guy, Hago, you know, I wouldn't have known about the jam. We play him all the time at Skate City. So, forward to your point, I'm sitting in a dressing room with these cats last weekend at the LA tour for Paul Weller, and the musicians were great. We're talking, and they're like, how'd you know Paul then? Right. And I start talking, and they go, how do you know Tony Hawk? And I'm like, you know, man, you guys have all been playing music. Some of them are younger, 30-year-old musicians, but I'm like, it's like anything. And I quoted Dizzy Gillespie when he said, popular culture rises from the bottom, not the top. Like, so it's all this stuff. You could say with skateboarding, you could say with punk rock, with rap music. It's like 20 years later that people are like, oh, you know. But yeah, when I said that, I'm like, I've known Tony, but it wasn't like everybody, skateboarding was going to be this thing. You did it because you loved it. And every skateboarder out there my age is going to say the same. You're saying the same, right?
Absolutely.
So, and then they were kind of like, oh yeah, that makes sense, you know. But it wasn't until I said that they were kind of like, how would you know this guy? And I'm like,
you're like, hey, you know John Entwistle? I know Tony Hawk.
Yeah, more or less. Or now you know Paul Weller. And well, that blew my mind sitting in the room with this cat.
Insane. Did Paul Weller play Smithers Jones? That's my jam.
I told him to, but he didn't. No, he didn't. No, again, I'm an Uber fan, but dude, he did an hour and a half, to almost 2 hours of 30 songs from 40 years. Like five jam songs, 4 Style Council songs, and then he's done 20 solo albums. So
then he's got a lot of material.
Then he comes on for 2 encores, one ending with A Town Called Malice, one ending with Start. So Smithers Jones, though, Foxton wrote, so I don't know if he'd do that because Foxton and Buckler rip off his shit in a band called From the Jam, and they tour with it and everything.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, they're jam songs. They're okay, but they sound like the Jam, but they didn't write them.
So they still don't like each other?
No, they do. I think Weller's asked Foxton to play in a few things too recently. Okay. They communicate, but I mean, it'd be someone going on tour with a Smitty show, and you're still alive. You know, like it's.
Hey, people do it all the time, you know?
I know.
Hey, what's it called? Imitation is the best form of flattery or something
Flattery,
like that.
Yeah.
So, what can we do?
So is writing your own music and moving on.
Yeah, but it's 2024 and we got AI.
Right.
AI is going to do it all for everybody, so nobody has to do shit, you know?
That's a really good point. That's really good. Yeah.
Dude, I love talking to you, man. It's been a really good one.
Thank you, sir. It's been, I'm wonderful surprise. I had no idea. I mean, I knew what to expect because you carry a conversation well, but thanks, man. Hopefully it was interesting to folks. I mean, life, art, music, skateboarding, you know, I think
that's all it is.
Yeah,
and fucking when you're on an airplane and you're flying to Australia, you got 20 hours to kill. Throw on a Talkin Schmit, huh?
There you go. Plug that. Yes. Yeah. So anyway, hope the photos didn't bore everyone, but
no, I love that. I might steal that for a future show. You know, we might get Grant Britton on to see if he can one up you.
He'll show stuff that's already been seen. I'm not kidding. I don't know. No, that's what I love about Grant. Recently, he's shown these outtakes of just amazing. I mean, that guy's got so much stuff. You know,
I can't even imagine like the organization of all that.
Yeah, if I'd done it proper, I would have probably made like a PowerPoint lecture and it would have just rolled smoother and you would have gotten clarity in images. But I didn't know where it was going to go. I just already had the folder in my thing. So, but yeah, that's a great idea. If you've never done that.
I think that's the one thing that the pandemic showed us is that we can work from home. Yeah. We can get shit done. And then it kind of complicates things when we go back to the real world because you're like, hey, wait, I could just do all this from home, remember? And they're like, no, you're coming in now.
No, and productivity, yes, and socializing, but yes.
Totally. And we need to work on socializing. Everybody needs to.
Thank you, sir. I agree. Yeah. Well, Schmitty, thank you so much, man.
Big love, man. I'll let you know when this is. Maybe this will be my birthday episode. My birthday is October 27th. So.
Wow. So you bridge from Libra to Scorpio?
I'm a Scorpio.
See, and I'm glad we're getting along.
The girls love it. The guys not so much.
Scorpios are like this. They're cool. You're a friend, and then
you fuck with me, and forget about it.
That tail comes up, and wham! And I'm a Libra, so it's like, Gandhi's a Libra, Jimmy Carter, John Lennon. You know,
be the changes you want to see.
We save the world. We're open to other people's situations.
Well, let's hope the world gets saved by somebody because it needs help in all facets. We don't get political on this show, but you understand what I'm saying.
Yes, sir. And it's never one person. So I would say, to your point, not saved by somebody, but a group of human beings that have a clear heart about what to do. Yeah. No, I'm with you, dog. Needs work. It's a lot of work.
I think the answer for me, the simplicity of it is try to be closer to the middle like a skateboarder and balance. Whatever your thing on the right is, balance it with the left. We're skateboarders. Our minds are creative. We are not closed mind. Remember that and don't cancel your friends over some bullshit. It's like, that's it.
Isn't that's the truth of it, brother? Because we grew up in a time where you did not you gave everyone a chance, even if they're way off. I'm just shocked how, like you said, shut down it's become. But there's a lot of beautiful people, and even like what you just said, publicly is an important thing. So,
and life is beautiful. If you ever need to just really appreciate it, just drive into Yosemite for the day.
Yeah,
it's the fucking best.
Yes, and thanks for this. This is huge. Warms my heart. As we move into the holidays, everybody love each other, be kind. And let me know when this goes public. And
we will.
I should text Jason. That's really sweet.
Yeah, text him.
I'm curious about that paint. I don't even know if I have photos of those things.
He might have a photo of it, so.
I'm sure he does. But unless he fucking took one of his shotguns and did target practice.
We've done that before, too.
All right, dude. Are we good?
Okay, well, yeah, we're good. And like Tim Kerr says...
You just influenced somebody.
Oh, yeah, good. You just influenced somebody. You sign here.
And remember to send in those clips for our annual Thanksgiving video. It's talkinschmit@gmail.com and everyone's invited. Side note, McKinney's Atlas shirt has been selling like condoms at the Olympics. Also, if you want to be a sponsor of the podcast, like Blood Wizard, Blue Plate, and others, hit me up. We're always welcoming sponsors, advertisements. If you want to buy something, Christmas is right around the corner. talkinschmit.com/shop. Merch is back up on the website. So get over there, check it out. And if there's anything we don't have that you would like to see, hit me up. I'm down. I'll make it for you. Fuck it. All right, kids. Thanks again for tuning in, for commenting, for showing up for the video premieres. We're going to start doing more live stuff. Winter is here. Indoors it is. Podcasts we make. Peace in the hood. Love you all. Thank you. Peace. Bye. Tell a friend. Hit the like button. Subscribe. Increase our numbers. You know? Bye.
And now, a word from our sponsor, Oro Coffee. That's some damn good coffee. Order 1 or 6 bags at orocoffeeroasters.com.
Y'all like music? Because you're listening to SMFM.
Hello, good people. Firstly, I'd like to start off by thanking Oro Coffee. SMFM runs on Oro. Get your asses down to their .com site, orocoffeeroasters.com. Grab 1 or 6 bags today. Anywho, this episode, we have a great band. A band of veterans. Ska veterans. They're called Barbicide, and they're from New York City. And this song is called Unlove You.
Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Yeah, it's been a long time since you broke my heart, but it ain't been long since I cried. And it feels so good getting over you, like Lazarus when he undied. Well, I'd undo what I undid and turn the mountains into sand. To figure out where we went wrong, you know I'll never understand. But I'd unlove you, unlove you, unlove you, yes I would. I'd unlove you, unlove you, unlove you if I could. I'd unlove you, unlove you, unlove you, unlove you, unlove you, unlove you, unlove you to eternity. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Well, not much has changed since I moved on, and I'm still here being me. But if I could just be someone else who didn't know you intimately, well, I'd undo what I undid until all was right and sound. And I wouldn't try to fuck it up till I was underground. I'd unlove you, unlove you, unlove you, yes I would. I'd unlove you, unlove you, unlove you if I could. I'd unlove you, unlove you, unlove you, unlove you, unlove you, unlove you, unlove you till eternity. Love you, yes I would. I'd unlove you, unlove you, unlove you if I could. I'd unlove you, unlove you, unlove you, unlove you, unlove you, unlove you, unlove you till eternity. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Well, it's been a long time since you broke my heart, but it ain't been long since I cried. And it feels so good getting over you, like Lazarus when he undied. Well, I'd undo what I undid and turn the mountains into sand. To figure out where we went wrong, you know I'll never understand. But I'd love you, I love you, I love you, yes I would. I'd love you, I love you, I love you if I could. I'd love you, I 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 love you till eternity.
Ha! That was NYC Ska Punk, Barbicide. Alright, you want to know more about them? Find them on Instagram at Barbicide Band. Pick it up, pick it up. Pick up your skateboard. Pick up a paintbrush. Pick up a book. Pick up your kids at school. Pick up your friend who's too wasted to drive. Alright, and tune in next time on SMFM, the show that you could see or hear. SMFM, only on Talkin Schmit. See ya!
Thank you for listening to another episode of Talkin Schmit. You can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Anchor, Spotify, or anywhere you get your podcasts. When you subscribe, you'll get notifications every Tuesday of new episodes the minute they become available. Also, please leave reviews and a 5-star rating. It's the best way to help the show grow. All of the episodes will always remain free, but if you would like to help support the show, you can do so at talkinschmit.com, where you can pick up some merchandise like t-shirts, beanies, hats, and stickers. The website has an entire archive of all of the episodes, with extra photos and videos. Email us with any suggestions, comments, or ways that the show may have improved your life at talkinschmit@gmail.com. All interviews are conducted, edited, and produced by Schmitty. The intro music is Mary's Cross by the band Nature. A very special shout out goes to the executive director, Cheryl Camisa.
Shout out.
Love it!
This is Talkin Schmit, where the Rolodex is deep, but the conversation is deeper.
Keep the wheels greased.